Robbins will lead, Jones giving chase. An all-Z 16-cylinder battle. What do we got? Robbins versus Jones. Let's see how they handle coming down the hill. Robbins initiates, coming to that first front clip. Robbins, Jones a little bit tighter, but he's losing some ground as Robbins consistent up the hill into that second outside zone, into the keyhole. Now see if he can tighten it up. Both of them do that as they exit out. Unlock the door. Speaking of doors, Jones sticks it to the door of Robbins and back up the hill past that final front clip. The first front clip getting the clean air. And Robbins chasing him down. Robbins, we saw him last year, very aggressive. It seems like he's kind of chilling out. He's changed tire manufacturers. Oh, look at this, going to the dirt. Just as I say that, Alex Robbins goes on the wrong side of the clipping point. That is going to be detrimental to the outcome of this run. Oh boy. So Jeff Jones could have the victory here. I want to take a look at the instant replay, make sure there's no foul play. I don't think that was the case. I think that Jones, or excuse me, not Jones, but Robbins. This FD, first time comer in the top 16, Eve Meyer. Here we go, Frederick Osbo, Jeff Jones. What do we got? Osbo and Jones. Osbo with that Rockstar Toyota Supra, a nasty initiation there, really well done. Jeff Jones taking that more straight line approach, but very fluid. Gotta love this. As Osbo comes now into the keyhole, into that second outside zone. Jeff Jones right there. Jeff Jones cannot be shaken. Mr. 818 worldwide, bringing it to the former champ of Osbo. Look at that, Ryan.
Jeff, where he's going to want to stay aggressive to Jeff Jones.
Oh man, people around the world watching. Jeff Jones, his wife in the building, Osbo. Don't know where Hunter's at, but here we go. Jeff Jones leading. Frederick Osbo giving chase. Jeff Jones initiating into that first front clip. And look at that transition. Wow. Well done. Look at Osbo just nicking that course marker. Jeff Jones swinging for the fences. Fills that second outside zone into that second front clip outside of the keyhole. Oh, Jeff Jones shot it outside wide. Then tries to tighten it up there on that touch and go. And then Jeff Jones across that front clip. Man, what do you think? Riley on pin. Jeff Jones will lead. Jones qualified 18th. Carney qualified 26th. He's one of those late eights, but now he's trying to birth a podium finish. Jeff Jones initiates into that first front clip, and Dean Carney comes in hot, makes contact with Jones, but Jones stays in it. Now coming to that first outside zone, into that second outside zone goes Jones. Look at Jeff Jones, absolute beast. Coming through that touch and go, and then that final inside clip. Ryan Sage, Jones gang. There's just Jones and
there's nothing like this.
No, Jones and his team are a different breed, man, and I think it needs to be celebrated. Here we go. Dean Carney out front. Jones in that chase position. Carney initiates massive angle there. Wow, that was very sick. Solid initiation there, but Jones needs to get active. Oh, and Dean goes over, sprays the dirt to the sand people right there. And look at Jones. Ryan, you don't give a lot of drivers nicknames, but you deemed him relentless years ago, and I think it just really summarizes the first portion of this battle. Matt Field waits in the wings as Von Gittin Jr. does as well. Will he get third place or will he get fourth? Odie Bakshis coming down the hill in that Falcon Tires Field Suspension S15. Here comes Jones in tow. Odie brings it around that first front clip. Well executed by both the drivers. Couple car length distance in between the two drivers. First outside zone, now the second outside zone. Jones taking a tighter line. Ooh. Look at that, wheel to wheel. Good transition. Now coming out of the keyhole. Jeff Jones make a small correction, straightens out, now back up the hill. Odie and Jones, no major. She's loving it, she's back. And it's great, man. This is just all one big happy family, but one of these gentlemen is going to the finals, guaranteed a podium spot. Here we go, send it. Jeff Jones coming down the pipe. Odie Bakshis right there, that's what I was talking about, and that's to be expected. Jones and that 818 Edelbrock. Z coming into that second outer zone. Just barely dips that back left wheel into that second outside zone, transitioning out of the keyhole and through that touch and go. Oh, great transition by both the drivers. Jeff was a little off that touch and go, Ryan. BC internals, run BC. Shout out Brian Crower as clean start. There we go. Across the nose of Jeff Jones at his 370Z. Ken Gucci high on the bank. Nice job by Ken Gucci. Past that first inside clip. Jeff Jones comes out of the smoke right there on the side of the Toyota Supra. Look at Jeff Jones. Right on the door of Ken Gucci. And brings it across. A great Star Energy Drink changes their graphics here in 2021. All right, coming out of the start chicane, here goes Frederick Osbo. Jeff Jones going to try to gain some ground, but he does not. Here we go. Here comes Jones. Osbo high on the bank. Now coming down into that transition. There's some sparks being thrown. And Jones, really good at that transition, takes out that second inside clip. Looks like Osbo gaining some grip. Wow. But look at Jones. Again, just red lights illuminate, extinguish. It's go time. Send it. Jones and Osbo. Into that first outside zone. What's Jones got? Osbo. Right there on the side of that Nissan 370Z. Now coming down to the transition, allow him to transition in front of him over that jump. Osbo does go tighter on that second inside clip. Shallow on that second outside zone, Ryan. And Jones, oh, he loops it across the finish line. Ready to get after it. And wow. Here we go, Jeff Jones. Yeah, these things are ablazing. Jeff Jones comes into that first outside zone. That 818 coming to us from Los Angeles. Got Minnesota's own Facetto. Nissan Z into that second outside zone. Shooting out those cones. I know Jeff Jones throwing it down, doing the soldier boy, right? Superman. Let's see if he can bring it on home as Alec Robbins gets some separation here. Tries to play catch up. Jeff Jones making it look good.
All right.
That Edelbrock or Dan Burkett. And here goes Robbins out front. That Facetto Nissan Z. It's an all Z battle, all V8s under the hood. See Jeff Jones applies the pressure there in that first outside zone. And now digging into that second, that big, long 180 degree. And into that front clip. Good angle there from Jones. Alec Robbins, like I said, pulled away earlier. Oh, and Robbins almost looked like getting that angle right there. Very cool.
It's basically looking at both lead runs and both chase runs and figuring out who did a better job overall.
There's just a little information that they're gathering with every turn and burn. Travis Reeder initiates. You can see some wobbling from both of the vehicles. The attitude of the vehicles, not exactly lock, stock, ready to rock. Now dropping into that second outside zone. Like I said, that momentum zone, just gliding right into that second outside zone. Jeff Jones going way shallow, goes on the inside. Looks like Travis Reeder does go beyond that track course edge, but then both of them getting settled.
So Chris and I both agree.
All right, here we go. Jeff Jones, Travis Reeder. Thank you, Ryan Lontaine. And here we go. We are seeing Jeff Jones for this one more time battle. Travis Reeder initiating into that first outside zone. Jeff Jones just slightly higher than Travis Reeder, and now coming down into that second outside zone. There goes Jeff Jones. You can see that momentum area kind of lift. That did allow Travis Reeder to kind of pedal back and get that proximity. Now in that final outside zone, Jeff Jones hammering down into that final outside zone, punting way off course goes Jeff Jones on one and hanging out in outside zone two for quite a while. Let's see how it manifests. Travis Reeder initiating into that first outside zone. Jeff Jones does get close, has to back off quite a bit. Now they're ripping in. Let's see how they handle it. So now coming down into outside zone two, you can see that smoke line, that momentum area. Now coming back into outside zone three, we got to pick up the speed and really hang it out to dry. Speaking of dry, absolutely plumes of smoke coming off of Reeder and Jeff Jones.
To mimic what the lead driver's doing, and they're making mistakes in that aspect as well.
Right, truth be told, I think that's what they want to do, and maybe you should make an ASMR video. Here we go as Eve Meyer, Jeff Jones. Eve Meyer initiates nice and high, goes that BMW. Jeff Jones, good. Oh, it comes out of angle, comes out of drift. Jeff Jones in that chase position. Now coming into that power alley. Now keep in mind, Jeff Jones did forego his sight lap, but you can see great proximity. Like the aggressive driving, gets thrown off there. That is not what you want to do. I'll tell you what, Eve Meyer, as Jeff Jones will lead, and Eve Meyer giving chase. Jeff Jones, I know he's going to throw it down for 818. Coming out, comes swinging. Way early initiation. And Eve Meyer nowhere. He's not even in the same zip code, unfortunately. Eve Meyer, you can see him gaining ground, though. Low on the bank. Let's see how his mistakes outweigh each other. Coming to that third outside zone. Tap from Eve Meyer. Jeff Jones continues on. Look at that. Takes a licking and keeps on sticking it to the wall. Woo! So already in the grade 8, Michael Essa versus Dylan Hughes. Next up, here we are. Who's moving on? Jones or Carney? Jones initiates in his Nissan 370Z. He's got the Edenbrock supercharger. Throws it. Oh, and Dean goes into the wall. Dean loses a tire, and Jeff Jones does need to continue on through the course. Yard sale on exit on aisle 1. Jeff Jones continues through the course run. How he throws down, how's he gonna do? Jeff Jones, you can see him pacing. So looks like a little bit of a jump, and he's gonna pace Vonkin Jr. Maybe there's a potential horsepower differential, as we saw in the numbers, and Vonkin Jr. in that second outside zone. Jeff Jones taking away title line, throwing him off, and Jeff tried to dive in on the inside. Not the proper line, especially since he was off that second outside zone. Now transition that final outside zone. Jeff flirting with that door. Oh boy. Holy cow, as if he might be banging. Here we go. Jeff Jones in that first outside zone, initiating. And there we go, riding right there on the edge of the course. Now transitioning in that second outside zone. Jeff Jones taking that wide line, but definitely tightening it right back up into that third outside zone. Now Vaughn, doesn't need to be super aggressive here. He doesn't do that. That's go time. See if we can get a clean start here from Jeff Jones. Yes, we do. Oh, no big deal. The chase car can't hit a cone, FYI. Here we go, Jeff Jones initiates. Ryan Little in that chase position. Now coming out to that outside, touch and go. Let's see how they handle the transition. Nice job into that first outside zone, into the second. Now coming to that final inside click, Jeff Jones wraps it around Ryan Little right there. Both of them kind of punching out of the way. So, battles RB2J. Just the evolution of everybody's vehicles and these builds. Here we go, Ryan Little out front. That power stop brakes, GT Radial. Sylvia SMC, Jeff Jones. Edenbrock power. Whoa, Little smashes that back bumper transition. Oh, he's big correction there, unfortunately. But Jeff Jones stays in it. We talked about adaptation, and Jeff Jones kept his composure. That might have paid off where he gave himself a little bit of room. Frederick Osbo and Jeff Jones. Here we go through that chicane. No cones were hit. We got a clean start. Frederick Osbo, the Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota GR Supra. Now coming into view. Yes. Outside touch and go. Quick little quiver there for Frederick Osbo. Look at Jeff Jones. Right there. Jeff Jones coming on down into that final inside clip, knocking it over, but look at that. Jeff Jones out front. Edelbrock, GT Radial, 818, CPR, Nissan 370Z leading the Rockstar Energy Drink, Toyota GR Supra. Coming out into that touch and go. Jeff Jones goes all the way out there. Transitions back. Look at Jeff Jones. Can he be the giant killer? Taking on Osbo. Osbo, big pressure here. Now past that touch and go. Here comes Jones and brings it right around. Both these guys, this could really go either way for Jones or Carney. Here comes Jeff Jones. Initiates high on the bank, good angle for him. Look at Dean Carney. Gets to the side of Jeff Jones, drops down on the bank a little bit. Does not exceed the track limits. And now going to the second outside zone. Who's going to manage? Jeff Jones, big angle. Carney firing off. You can see that side exhaust just spraying like Ben-Hur on the side of that Nissan 370Z. And into that final outside zone goes Jeff Jones. Like I said, really. Watch Carney. Got a lot of horsepower. But Jeff Jones does as well. And there we go. Dean Carney's going to leave it all out on the track. He saves it from going into the wall, and that got real hairy there. Jeff Jones is going to shut it down. So as looks like Dean Carney does continue out the battle, but Ryan, that looked like he was going to go on the wall. Field suspension, S15, Vortex Supercharged LS. We have Jeff Jones, 818. He's under 70Z, and Jeff Jones did not pace himself accordingly. But look at Jeff, the Edelbrock Supercharger, jumping up. Jeff Jones coming in hot. Oh! Pedals it back just enough, but Odie Bakshi pulls away. And now into that final outside zone. Really impressive. Again, Jeff has the horsepower. You see that? So here we go. Jeff Jones out front. Look at that tip to tail, and now trying to go door to door. Jeff Jones, some more angle at it, but just not enough. Drops down that bank, and look at Odie. Everywhere he went, that Jeff Jones went, Odie is right there. Some wavering there by Jones. But even with that wavering, the teal and blue shadow of Odie Bakshi is right there. Odie, the friendly goat, right on in.